Okay, I think we're live. Hello everyone. Welcome to today's event. So the future, present is DeFi and DAOs. So my name is Johnson. I'll be the director. I'll be the MC for today's event. So today's event is about DeFi and DAOs really. So we used to think of concept like the future of work and fintech innovation as some cool incremental innovation to how our society operates within economy. In 2020, the global pandemic has forced billions of people to transition their lifestyle to work from home. In addition, the disruption caused by mobility restriction created unprecedented economic instability. The legacy financial institutions and policymakers are again abusing the only levers they are familiar with, printing money really. So for today's panel of social DeFi, crypto is all about community interactions. And so DeFi has been moving tremendously fast as people get more deep and rich information flow. New DeFi products are becoming more akin to social technologies than purely financial technologies. So for today's event, we'll be featuring founders who build products in the social DeFi space. So again, hi everyone. My name is Johnson. I'm currently head director of research at Huobi DeFi Labs, pretty much focusing on DeFi industry research, investment, incubation. So who we are really, Huobi DeFi Labs is focusing on connecting the East and the West, centralized finance and also decentralized finance through industry research, investment, and incubation. We embrace DeFi and welcome top-tier DeFi projects to explore collaboration opportunity with us. Good to be here, being the MC for today's event. So I've already seen some of the familiar faces. So let's welcome the speaker to introduce themselves. Henrik Andersson, why don't you go ahead?
Thank you, Johnson. Yeah, my name is Henrik Andersson. I'm a co-founder of dHEDGE, which is a decentralized asset management protocol. I'm also the co-founder of nStable, which is a stablecoin project also built on Ethereum. And I run a crypto fund called Apollo Capital, and I'm based in Melbourne, Australia.
Perfect. Next up, Moshe Malawach.
Hi, hello. I am Jonathan Chamul, aka Moshe Malawach. I'm the founder of the Aleph.im project, which is basically a decentralized cloud storage and decentralized infrastructure for the DeFi ecosystem and for all the apps.
Perfect. What about Suji?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm Suji, and CEO and founder of Mass Network, with the original name Massbook. So we name ourselves the bridge of the Web 2 and the Web 3. And anything runs on the Web 3, DeFi, NFT, or whatever should be able to run on top of the Web 2, including those mainly daily platforms like Twitter and Facebook. And we're providing that infrastructure. Yeah.
Perfect. And last but not least, Diane Dai from DODO.
Yeah, hi guys. Thanks for having me here. And I'm co-founder of DODO. DODO is a next generation decentralized exchange powered by proactive market-making algorithm to support high efficiency liquidity provision and any token trading and new assets issuance. Yeah, so glad to talk with everyone here.
Perfect. Thanks for everyone for the intro. So I guess everyone's pretty much interested to hear more thoughts on social DeFi, DeFi crypto, etc. So I'll pass on the mic to Henrik Andersson to talk about dHEDGE.
Yes, sure. Thank you so much, Johnson. And also thank you so much to Bitfwd for inviting me to be here today. I'm super excited. So I have a few slides that I like to share as well. So let me see if I can share my screen. I hope you can see my screen now.
Yes.
Very good. So again, I'm the co-founder of dHEDGE. So dHEDGE is a decentralized asset management protocol. It's built on Ethereum, and it's tightly integrated to Synthetix, which is a platform for synthetic assets. So let me just share some thoughts about what I'm thinking about social DeFi and why social DeFi. So I thought about a few different things that I think is really important in decentralized finance, and also why social is so important. The first one is defendability. So when it comes to layer ones, my first point here. So layer one is like the base blockchain. So like Bitcoin or Ethereum, that's what we call layer ones. They can really, I believe, build a moat or kind of defendability through all the applications that are built on top. So we all know that there are a lot of applications being built on top of Ethereum, and that creates a situation where it's very hard for another protocol to compete with Ethereum. So that really creates strong defendability for a layer one like Ethereum. When it comes to middleware, so middleware, I'm calling the applications that are built on top. So dHEDGE would be a middleware application on top of Ethereum. When it comes to the middleware, they don't have the same luxury as the layer ones. So they don't have as many protocols perhaps building on top of them, even though we have the composability in DeFi and on Ethereum, where a project can interact with each other and smart contract can interact with each other. They don't have the same moat through other applications being built on top as the layer ones. But what they do have, and I think what is even stronger among middleware, and when I was talking about middleware, I'm really talking about the DeFi projects. Many of them have a strong community around them, and that is something that is very important because, as we all know, the code is open source, and the code can be forked, but as the saying goes, the community can't be forked. So if you build a very strong community around your product or around your DeFi application, then you can create something that cannot be copied by someone else because it has a strong community, and you cannot fork the community. So that strong social network, if you like, create a certain form of stickiness, which I think is especially important in DeFi and among middleware. So that's about defendability. When it comes to the demand side, I think social is super important as well. A strong community can really rally around the project and keep it alive and grow it. So we have seen that in the past. I think one good example is Synthetix, which pivoted from the original idea, but what they had built was a strong community that that kept following the project and kept supporting the project even during very, very tough times. So I think that has been proven to be true, that a strong community could even save a project or keep it alive. And then kind of maybe self-evident, most of the users are humans, so we need the social aspect of what we are building. So that's on the demand side. And then I think what we are talking about today as well is DAOs, and DAOs are also driven by humans. So social aspects are important. And why do we have DAOs? I think we have DAOs because we need a decentralized way to make decisions. If we want to upgrade the protocol, make changes, use of DAO funds, etc. The social community is very important to build a strong community that can make the right decisions. That's essential. And why do we need a decentralization around the governance of the projects? Well, I think it's because we want to build something that is trust minimized. So we don't want to have to trust a single entity. So that's why I think DAOs are so important. And when we built dHEDGE, we really had a DAO first mentality, I think, all the way from the beginning. Not that it's fully decentralized from one day. I think that's still a process. And there is definitely a process that we're going through. But we had that kind of in mind in the design from day one. Our governance token is called dHEDGE DAO token for a reason. So that's some of my thoughts on why social DeFi, and I'll give you just a few examples of some of the more social things that we have built on around dHEDGE. So we actually started building a strong community already before we went to mainnet. So when we launched the project, we were only on the Ropsten testnet of Ethereum, and we decided to get the community involved already from the start, even before we launched on mainnet. So we launched actually 2 trading competitions. They lasted around 3 weeks each. We had our governance token as prizes, but we also had other prizes. One of the prizes was to kind of run your own Discord channel. This, I think, meant that we had a head start in building the social aspects around dHEDGE. So we ran 2 competitions. The first one 3 weeks. The second one was supposed to last 4 weeks, but unfortunately, the Ropsten testnet had a hard fork, and we had to end it early. And we started focusing on actually delivering the mainnet after that. But I think this was a good lesson, not just for building socials, but also to kind of test the system, get the feedback, not the least from the community, to get them engaged already from the very start. And it's actually changed some of the design decisions running the testnet. So it was super helpful in many different aspects. What we also did, we did meme competitions. Community came up with some great memes. I think we gave out 3 prizes for the best memes around dHEDGE. And actually, our mascot, the dHEDGE hedgehog, was a result of the meme competition. So that was really fantastic to see all the creativity around the community. That was a lot of fun. And I think another thing that we have started with, and I think we will do a lot more of, is social sharing across different platforms. So currently, if you want to sign up as a manager on dHEDGE, it's completely permissionless. But one thing that you need, you can do if you like, is that you can verify yourself on Twitter. So it looks something like this. This is Daniel Barr. He's verifying himself. You see his address there, where that's the address he uses to interact with the dHEDGE protocol. And it's just nice to see all the managers that verify themselves across social media. And I think we can do a lot more of that in the future as well. If you go to dhedge.org and you click on our app, app.dhedge.org, the first thing you will see is our leaderboard. So we have really focused on building something that encourages people to compete with each other, to have a little bit of fun with the app, to try to rise to the top of the leaderboard. So on the front page, we have the top 10 on the leaderboard. This is a leaderboard that is constantly changing. We think over time, dHEDGE will find the best managers out there, and they will automatically rise to the top if we have designed the system correct. So we are giving each manager a score, and we have thought about doing this in a way that is non-gameable, if you like. That is really hard to do, and we are still tweaking kind of the method how to calculate the score. For those interested, we use risk-adjusted return metrics to figure out someone's score and basically how good managers they are. And I think this has been a great feature for dHEDGE because it creates this it awakens the competitive spirit among the people coming to dHEDGE. So it's a lot of fun, actually. And yeah, people are sharing the leaderboard on social media as well. And people are noticing who are rising to the top. Over time, we will, I think, be able to see who are the really good managers across, both bull markets and bear markets. And another social feature we have is that the manager can communicate their thinking in real time around what they're doing, what they're thinking about the market. And this is also straight on the first page of the DApp we have built. There is kind of a feed where you can see managers' public posts. Just every day you see new posts being posted by the managers. You can do thumbs up and things like that. We will add more emojis over time as well in sharing features. We also have hidden posts, which means that you actually have to be invested in that specific pool to be able to read those posts. I think that's also a really cool feature. So some managers have chosen to have hidden posts, and some managers have chosen to share everything openly. So yeah, I'm going to just summarize here. I think my 10 minutes are almost up. So why does DeFi need to be social? I think there are three main reasons. Maybe there are more reasons as well. One is to be unforkable. You cannot fork the community. I think that's more or less true. Second one, I think, is to create sticky demand, and also to increase demand is, I think, essential for growth in any DeFi project, to create strong socials and a strong community. And the third one is to be able to have effective governance through DAOs. You really need an aligned community that see the long-term, can make the long-term decisions around the project. And then the last, I'm sharing our internal saying in dHEDGE, which is people will come for the gains and they will stay for the memes. So thank you.
Hey, I think it's Daniel. Could you confirm if I'm on or Johnson? I'll just take the cue. Hey everyone, I'm Kerman, founder of ARC. So at ARC, essentially, we're creating synthetic assets, and while we've been on this journey, so we kind of thought that, okay, we've got a token, but rather than releasing the token straight away and having it tradable, let's actually give out the token, but have it non-tradable. And what that allows you to do is kind of recognize community members who are being a part of the journey, but there's no extrinsic motivation around like how much APY or how much money you can earn like straight away. And we kind of thought that we could dig deeper into that concept. So for most projects, whenever you realize that there's no APY, it can often be like, okay, so what else can I do? Or how do I feel like I'm winning in some game? And this concept of a game is something which I think ties into the social aspect of DeFi a lot. So we kind of sat down and brainstormed and said, okay, how can we make participating in a crypto network more fun? And not just from a standpoint of providing liquidity, but also doing all the other things a network needs, such as making memes, helping out users, testing out the product. These are all things which crypto networks need, but aren't really incentivized that well. So we started off by essentially saying that, okay, since the token isn't tradable, let's create a leaderboard of who's actually farmed the token and rank them. And one really interesting behavior that came out as a result of this was that users actually wanted to start farming tokens to climb up the leaderboard rather than for any dollar amount. And to me, that's a really interesting kind of mechanism that we haven't really seen before, because usually when you farm tokens, you farm the token to earn straight dollars. But when you kind of abstract away the dollars from the users and you make it purely about competing within this community, it becomes a lot more interesting. So I'll share my screen about how we've kind of implemented this in the current iteration of ARC. So over here, it shows you this leaderboard, who has earned how many ARC tokens. And this is all live. You can check it out at app.arcx.money, where you can see everyone. So you've got first place, who's earned 4.9 million Gravers, which is 4.9 ARC tokens. Second place is 2, and the third place is 1.2. And then you can virtually scroll all the way and see all of these addresses that have been earning. And what this kind of does is it actually shows you, because these are standard reward pools, and the caps were the same, you can kind of see who's been the most dedicated to the project by keeping up with the latest pools, getting in first, and staying ahead of the curve. So this was one really nice iteration that we learned a lot from, because we got to see this kind of social behavior emerge within the context of DeFi.
那要收回来了，就开始了吗？那个？
还没呢，但是马上了。他这个 panel。
Sorry about that. Yeah, and then so this was great for like liquidity provisioning and having users compete when it comes to farming. But for us, we don't always run farms. We kind of treat yield farming as a short-term reward campaign, like something that's there for a limited period of time, which you can participate and then not participate in. So we decided to take it a step further, and one thing which I was really big on when growing up was RuneScape. And with RuneScape, you have all of these like skill sets, or these major high-level skill sets, and within those skill sets, you have sub-levels. So we kind of played on this whole theme of RuneScape and adapted it to what we were doing to come up with the following. So just when the screen starts sharing. Yep. So over here you have combat. And combat is essentially attack. And we like to think of attack as the amount of liquidity in the network. So this shows how many ARC tokens you've mined and the amount of XP you have for doing so. Moving along, we have Artisan, which is, we kind of look at these as like more important tasks in the network that are hard skills or things which networks need but don't have to get. So that's governance proposals, developer requests, or like developers writing code. It's still a bit sparse because we're working on it. And then the next bit is gathering. So gathering is if you improve the product in some way, you write educational content, whether that's writing a blog post about how the product works or creating a tutorial, you can earn XP tokens and your gathering levels up. And then last but not least, you've got support. And this is for the amount of memes you've created, the number of users you've helped. And the really neat thing about this, which, or actually before we get there, the normal thing you're probably thinking is that how could I earn these XP tokens? And what we've actually done is we've built a bot in Discord that essentially allows you to earn these tokens as you participate in the community. And it automatically links with your Ethereum address, and you get an ERC20 token as soon as you essentially earn that skill set. So in the Discord right now, we actually have all these users earning these XP tokens, which are real ERC20s, which then contribute to their level on their profile, and we can then use those ERC20s to do all sorts of interesting new neat things. So yeah, and there's a lot of ideas we have around how we can expand this, such as like having sub levels within each skill set, and then airdropping different kinds of tokens to users who have a combination of different skill sets. The design space around something like this is so vast and very social once again, but we're only just starting to tap into it, and we're still developing the actual protocol alongside. So yeah, that's been really fun to see play out, because I think this element of social and DeFi is very unexplored, and when you present it in the context of a game, it really drives different kinds of motivation levers that you typically see within a DeFi network. So yeah, hopefully that provides you guys with what we're doing at ARC in terms of social aspect. And of course, the actual product is about minting a synthetic asset. So you can get some collateral, mint a synth, and you're good to go. So yeah, hope that was informative and gets you guys thinking more about social and DeFi. Thanks a lot.
Perfect. Thanks, Herman. This reminds me gamification finance sort of things. So which is pretty fascinating that you are building at the moment. So I'll be following up some questions to you guys as well, and for everyone who's listening, feel free to ask any questions. I'll be picking up some random questions at the end for the panelists to answer. So I guess next up is Jonathan from Aleph.im. So it's a layer 2 network. Welcome to present.
Hello. Hi.
Hello.
Hear me? Yes.
Yes. Loud and clear.
Yes. Hello. So I am Jonathan Chamul, aka Moshe Malawach, founder of the Aleph.im network. I will present today what we are with. I will try to turn off on my camera. Looks like it does. Okay. Anyway, I will continue without the camera. So I will present what we are doing at Aleph.im. We aren't tackling directly the social part of DeFi, but the infrastructure that enables it. Because when you actually work for social part on DeFi, you need to store data, store comments, store relationships, store pictures, because on a social network, you are always sharing content. You are always playing, you are always creating data, and this data needs to be stored somewhere. And we can have composability, you can have a lot of things, but blockchains aren't really done to store a lot of data. So that's the issue that we're tackling around it. So what we provide is a decentralized and serverless file storage database on trusted computing. The computing part is interesting because you always need to do some kind of computation. You need to have servers that really answer fast and need to have access to a lot of data, just like on Amazon Lambda, if you will, serverless functions that will answer fast for the client. We support a lot of blockchains currently: Ethereum, the Polkadot ecosystem, Substrate, Kusama, the Cosmos and Cosmos SDK ecosystem, the Binance Chain, Binance Smart Chain, Solana, and others. Aleph.im is not a blockchain. We don't want to compete with blockchain. It's not our job. There are enough blockchains out there today. We offer a peer-to-peer network that uses the existing technologies of from peer-to-peer, like GossipSub and others, and also IPFS. And we offer a decentralized network that will offer data around it. We offer channel for each data so that you don't have noisy neighbors. For example, if there is a big DApp that is doing a lot of traffic, your DApp won't be impacted, and also sharding based on it. So technically, what it means is that we have what we call the core channel nodes here that are controlling the network, and you can have a lot of channels. For example, there can be one social DApp that has the channel A, another social DApp that has the channel C, another DApp that has the channel B, and they can share nodes, and they can share resource nodes or not. And the network will control that everyone has all the data and will continue to store it. The interesting part is that our core channel nodes need to have at least a certain amount of stakers to continue running. And this also implies a bit of gamification as well for that, because they always need to talk with their community to say, okay, we are doing this, our node is running well, please continue to stake with us. And we will introduce some social features based on our network soon for those nodes. Current state of the project, we have around a 10 million market cap. We have a live SDK for JavaScript and Python. We have live DApps. We have a Dropbox clone, which is my Aleph, a blogging DApp, and we'll integrate with more wallets soon. And we'll also introduce a decentralized identity framework, which also is a good building block for the social side of things. Let's say on Twitter, for example, you have a blue check marks near verified accounts. Here, anyone could just verify himself doing a KYC, using a KYC from one of the supported KYC providers. It will be mainly at startsignups.io, which is our partner on this. You can reuse your KYC on exchanges. Let's say you want to go on exchange I, you can reuse your KYC, etc. But the good part is that you can also use it to have a blue check mark near your account on a social DeFi DApp. And you can also use it on DeFi to verify yourself, because it will be a need in the next year, I think, to have verified addresses on DeFi. So how are we supercharging DeFi and social DeFi? We offer cross-chain composability. Let's say you have one account on Polkadot, you can link it to your account on Ethereum and keep your content. We offer full decentralization because most of the social DeFi DApps that we have seen use centralized database to store content. Here we offer to decentralize the last mile of them so that pictures can be decentralized, comments can be decentralized, links can be decentralized. All kind of content will be fully decentralized from top to bottom. So it allows to have interchain user bases for these DApps. If they have smart contracts on multiple chains, they can also have all the off-chain content that is linked. We have currently partnerships with Orion Terminal, which is a trading terminal with which we are working on social features, Serum as well on social features on top of Serum. On Jarvis, we are helping them making Marginium completely trustless and to add also social features like a decentralized troll box and decentralized trading history and trading page. So that's what we are planning. I think that I have still a few minutes left. I can perhaps show very quickly a demo of what we are doing. 1 second. Okay. Yep. So I will create an account on our Dropbox clone, which is kind of interesting. I can create a node to show you. This is a decentralized database entry. Oops. I can save it. It's fully encrypted from top to bottom, which is kind of interesting because most DeFi DApp don't do everything decentralized because content isn't encrypted. We are GDPR compliant and we offer encryption fully end-to-end. I can make it public, then it obviously won't be encrypted again. And I can share it, and this link is now public. On this page, I can also create files. The interesting part of publishing files is that we are also sharing it on IPFS on this yep. On this DApp here is sharing content. We also have a blogging DApp which can be integrated inside DeFi apps, for example. Okay, I will add it. Edit my profile. Yep. So I can use here a profile. And what happens if I want to reuse the profile that I did in this application here? Okay. So here I set a name on the storage DApp. The good part is that I can reuse it on another DApp. And I can obviously write an article. Yep, and I created an article here, which is linked to the account that we created here. This allows for composability between the apps to also share social content and to have profiles that can be reused from one app to the other, which is, I think, really interesting for the social DeFi side of things, if you can reuse your profile from one DApp to another. So I hope I've not been too fast or too quick on what I explained, and if there are questions, you can ask them later. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jonathan. Yeah, it's good to hear about the I guess like the centralized identity module, which is essentially trying to connect every single sort of cross-chain or different modules in the Web3 era. So next up, we'll be welcoming I guess Suji from Must Network. Which is also another part of a social DeFi component, which is being hyped on Twitter. So let's welcome Suji.
Hey, hello everyone.
Hello.
Hey, hello. Yeah, I'm glad to hear all these previous great inputs from all the other projects, and then I'm gonna share a little bit of what we're doing and why I believe it's also very important in the future of not only DeFi but also DAO and Web3. Can you guys share see my screen?
No, not at the moment. Yes, right now.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Right now, you can see it right now, right?
Yes.
All right. So 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 what we've seen into today, I believe a lot of guys have seen this similar like decks or whatever before. It's like we are being watched more and more by our big data friends and big brothers, and the benefit we get is we can use the platform for free. The thing we lost is the free of migration and our autonomy of whether data or money or your identity, right? And we've seen this guy a lot of times as well. All these attempts in the past, from the early days of the cyberpunk movement in 90s to recently, seems to try to solve the problem in many different ways. The two major attempts are like Telegram and the Tor network, which is also, another name is the darknet. They either are truly secure and geeky service and no one really use them, or um, it's hard to still take friends and data away from those existing platforms. And another example that's more familiar with the crypto user or crypto developers is actually Jed Dossi. He is the co-founder and CEO of both Twitter and Square. Last year, 2 years ago, in December 2019, he also announced his plan of decentralization decentralization of Twitter called Blue Sky. And unfortunately, I don't see any possibility that his plan of, let's say, bring finance to Twitter or bring Twitter to a decentralized manner and embrace DeFi. I don't think any possibility that the SEC or any other regulator will not intervene. Yeah. So here's the problem. We know there's a great Web3 there, right? No matter it's DeFi, NFT, or DAO. And we also see the problem of today's Web 2, um, from platforms controlled by Mr. Zuckerberg or Twitter, who might want to change it slightly, but there's no solution. And the attempts of building another alternative form of social media actually failed. And our attempt, starting from the early 2018, in the past 2 years, we're focusing on this attempt is, hey, why not just let's stay on top of those Web2 platforms, but simultaneously we just add those magic layers of Web3 injected into these Web2 layers. And from the very beginning, what we achieve is like the PGP, you can send over encrypted message on top of Twitter and Facebook. If you can send encrypted message, then you can also send cryptocurrency, because crypto is just another form of information protected by the general purpose cryptography, right? And so that's one example of our partner campaign with Maker and Dai. So you can just send and receive some red pocket right on top of Twitter. And it feels like magic, you know. Let me show it again. So when you click this button, there's nothing happen on the server of Twitter. There's nothing happen on any server. It's just a way to call smart contract on Ethereum or any other major public chain. Then you receive the DAI, and you can say thank you to the guy who sent you the red pocket. We receive support from MakerDAO, Vitalik, and we become standard member of the ECMA, ECMA, that they control the standard of the TC standard of JavaScript. We keep writing new things into these standards so that one day we can bridge to Web 2 and Web 3. And also, we're not going to stop by just tipping money, right? If you can send money, then you can definitely raise money. And many of us have said like bank to unbank, whatever lot, and just like 6 or 12 months ago, we've witnessed several events that people are really need those tools to fundraising. One scenario is the COVID-19 support group, COVID-19 support fundraising, that people are just raise money to buy masks and test kit or different kind of medical devices to import to export to the US or European countries. And another scenario is the Black Lives Matter movement and Crypto for Black Lives initiative trying to raise money through DAI and other major stablecoin. It's quite obviously that Twitter still is not unlikely to still unlikely to ban and KOL in the black community just try to raise money. But let's say if I post a Venmo QR code of my personal Venmo and say, hey, buddy, just send me some money. I want to just do something good for the community. You'll get banned for the anti-money laundering purpose, right? So we partner with Gitcoin, just try to say, hey, now you can fundraise on Twitter and no KYC as long as you stay in the crypto world, right? Another thing we did is we can enable the trade and swap on Twitter. We don't really build another DEX, and we want to partner with all these DEXs. We believe we should be good friends. The first partnership we did with the CMC and Uniswap. So here's a great example. It's here. Yeah. So this is a screen capture from our friend. So here you can just it feels like it's just on Twitter. You can just say, hey, I want to buy some pickle or like other token, just swap, and it's on Twitter. Then you finish the swap. The same thing we can also do on Uni. We like Uni more. You search Uni, and you just find someone mention Uni, and you just say, hey, I want to swap. I want to do different wallet, maybe MetaMask, or I have a lot of these. So I'm gonna swap some for the Uni, and let me see the gas fee right now. That's a lot. Then they're gonna say no, I reject the transaction. Yeah, and we can also buy from your local credit card or debit card, depends on your jurisdiction. I'm using my Hong Kong IP right now, so I can buy through my US card to buy some Uni. And again, all these things are not related or have nothing to do with Twitter, but it feels like it's on Twitter. And it's all rendered by our protocol, and we connect to different partners, whether it's via on-ramp or DEX. So here's another example of buying ETH on Twitter. And by doing this, by creating a decentralized middleware, decentralized bridge connecting the Web 2 and the Web 3, we get rid of the problem of, what if Jeff Dorsey want to ban Twitter and Square, and he can, and we just get rid of the problem and say, hey, we don't care about, all this regulation about the centralized service. And we just say, hey, it's somehow it's like magic. It's on Twitter. And then we also support NFT. We did a great campaign with our in-house and several other independent artists. Just do this just created this presidential election NFT for different state for both Biden and Trump. And in a very short time, we have around 2,000 transactions. And for reference, OpenSea usually have around 1,000 to 1,100 transactions per day. And as a single NFT campaign, it's a pretty good campaign. We utilize the social graph of the social network and make it a social NFT. And also, social DeFi if you want to send to your friends or trade with your friends. And the next step we're gonna do is, what if Twitter can be an exchange like Huobi or like Coinbase or like Nasdaq, right? Definitely it's not possible now, but what we want to do is like, hey, we already integrate all these DEXs. So right now we want to do initial Twitter offering. So if you are an account on Twitter and you just tell your fans, hey, I want to be a DAO, I want to issue our own governance token, and I want to that be done right on top of Twitter or right on top of other social media like Instagram or Facebook or Reddit, doesn't matter. So we named it initial Twitter offering, and this thing gonna come out in next week. Actually, we're gonna partner with several great projects, and I'll keep it some secrets here, but it will be really fun. And what we achieved, and we're gonna do in the next is really affected by our understanding, or strongly affected by a lot of our pioneers' vision about the future of the internet. In the 90s, the similar example will be the Microsoft V Netscape Navigator in the 90s, right? In the 90s, seems like all the open source, all the free software crusade is failed, and Windows become the monopoly player in the operating system. And Bill Gates, he is not really a nice guy in the 90s, right? There's the internet in 90s, in 80s as well. You can just use your Linux machine to go on the WoW forum to interact with your fans, with your friends online. It's really geeky. And what Netscape Navigator did is, hey, they created software right within the Windows OS. You double click, and then you're in the new world called the internet or the Web 1. And want to do the same thing, you're stuck in the Web 2 as a normal noobs, and all your geeks friends are in the Web 3, and they just want to get you in the Web 3. And with Mass Network, you just stay on Twitter, Facebook, any platform you prefer, and just magically you're in the Web 3. The more you use Mass Network, the more functionality we integrate with other great projects, maybe including a lot of other great projects we just made today. I believe the more value will be transferred into the new layer of the web. And gradually, we're going to create a huge collaborative or DAO or union, cyber union or whatever. And that's my understanding of DAO. And we're going to create that huge DAO within a huge factory, data factory, cyber world factory of Facebook, of Twitter, of all of those platforms. And we're going to bridge Web 2 and Web 3. And well, that's basically the introduction of what we're doing and how's that related with the social DeFi or the DAO or the future of all these Web3 protocols. And feel free to ping me on Twitter or Telegram or just check out our website. And I'm going to be very happy if we can have some collaboration after today with other great projects like dHEDGE or like, Diane Dai or like other great projects. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Perfect. Thanks, Suji. I really like the idea of, Maskbook as well. So I've been using Maskbook on Twitter as a Web3 plugin for a while now. So personally, a big fan of it, and looking forward for your initial Twitter offering very soon. So next up, Dai from DODO Network. So looking forward to your presentation.
Yes. Hi guys. Let me share my screen at first. Not this one. Yes. Time is not much here, but I want to briefly introduce that what we are building to have more users in the crypto trading space. From the view of a decentralized exchange, we think social DeFi is more about how to bring more people connected with each other and in the trading space, and how to provide a liquidity protocol that can be used for anyone to trade any asset, to create any kind of assets, and to create any kind of marketplace, even if you don't have big money. Yeah. So this is what DODO version 2 is focused on. Yeah, and I want to share our latest thoughts on the PMM algorithm and what are the use cases we can do, yeah, for social DeFi. Yeah, so we think PMM, proactive market making algorithm, is a universal liquidity framework. Yeah. It can support smart routing, on-chain professional market makers onboarding, and zero barrier to entry token issuance. For smart routing, we already launched it last month. Yeah, and next step is to launch more zero barrier scenarios for traders. Yeah, in this month. Yeah, first of all, I want to talk about that. We all know AMM, right? But AMM is only a fixed market making strategy that anyone cannot be a market maker, actually. Yeah, you can only be a trader, or you can only be a liquidity provider. Yeah, so you cannot apply your own market making strategy on this price curve. You can only follow this single fixed market making strategy, while PMM is more flexible and customizable. Yeah, so it opens some parameters like K of the risk parameter and the mid-market price, and also fee percentage. These parameters can allow you to adopt your own market making strategy, and also this can support a lot of more use cases. Yeah, this is the formula, the math of this algorithm. Yeah, and this K is very important. There's a range from 0 to 1 for this parameter. And it's very interesting that when K equals to 1, this curve is the same with AMM bonding curve. Yeah. So so we think AMM is only a special case in PMM algorithm, and PMM can support infinite use cases kind of marketplace. Yeah, so I will show more about the use cases. First of all, a low barrier to entry AMM. That means if you don't have enough money, you don't need to provide money when you launch a trading pair. Yeah, so you just deposit your own token. Yeah, and you don't need to put Ethereum or USDC or USTC. Just set up an initial offering price. Yeah, and it's good to go. Yeah, we call this DODO vending machine, and it's also open for others to be liquidity providers for your token pool. Yeah, and if you are confident or if you have some money, you are free to add some money into the pool. Yeah, but the ratio is free. You can put any amount of money to the pool. And use case 2 is customizable and free market making. Yeah, so this is a private pool that's that allows everyone can be a market maker. Yeah, so you just deposit your money into the pool, and all of the parameters you can just set up yourself, and you can always change these parameters. Yeah, so that means there is this price curve that you can always DIY. Yeah, and single token liquidity provision and removal is allowed. Yeah, we do think this kind of liquidity pool will bring more institutional market makers into the DeFi world. And use case 3 is crowd pooling. This is a total new feature in the world. Yeah, so this is designed for fair launch. Yeah, so the platform does not allow token trading immediately upon launch when a project want to do a IDO. Yeah, so all sale participants will receive tokens at the same unit price, and after the sale, token trading is enabled, and the remaining unsold tokens and liquidity collected from the last phase are used to construct a DODO public pool. Yeah, and this is something like Binance IEO. Yeah, so everyone got the equal price, and your allocations depends on how much money you put in the crowd pooling phase. Yeah, and after this crowd pooling phase, the secondary markets kick off. Yeah, and beyond these 3 use cases, PMM also support the classic AMM and also support stablecoin swap. Yeah, so that's how we think actually PMM is a more universal liquidity framework that can support any kind of use cases in marketplace. Yeah, and anyone can trade any tokens at any time and create any kind of assets. Yeah. Yeah, I think is pretty much from my side.
Perfect. Thanks, Dai, for the presentations. So I guess everyone's hearing about social DeFi, and all the speakers have already presented their sort of respective opinions and also their own projects as well. So I guess for the next sort of half section, I'll be taking you guys to a deep dive into the social DeFi element. So for the next 40 minutes actually, everyone will participate in the panel discussion just to talk about social DeFi and also the difference between the East and also the West. So I guess I'll kick off the first questions to everyone here really. So I think I've got the panel got a good mix of guests from the West and also the East. I'd be very much interested to understand what are some of the DeFi culture differences between the East and also the West. So feel free, anyone, feel free to answer that question really. Anyone? If not, I'll probably get started. Okay, not really. Okay, I'll probably give a head start. So for me personally, really, there's a bit of a I guess like huge gap or huge culture gap between the East and also the West, really. So for the East, right? So a lot of people don't really know how to use I guess MetaMask even, just because of the language barrier, technical barrier, and I guess for the West, right? So I've been I'm a crypto native, and also I guess like Twitter native as well. I'll call it myself. So it pretty much like every day my time is on Twitter, on Telegram, Discord, etc. So I've seen quite a bit of a I guess like social discussion in the Western sort of English community, so-called. A lot of people are interested in terms of participating in the DAO governance, and also I guess looking around sort of getting to know the projects from technical side, social interactions. So I've got a weekly call on Ethereum DeFi in one of the Discord discussion channel. So I usually try to, I guess, participate and also listen to the conversation like every week. So I guess from the east side, really, so people are interested in terms of, I guess, like trading, social trading, etc. But less emphasis on DAO governance, less emphasis on I guess like project development, etc. But they're more interested in terms of understanding the project's future perspectives, and also I guess like the next trading opportunity or the next big thing. And people are usually interested in terms of understanding DeFi, participating in the DeFi, but not as much as on the technical level, not as much as the compared to the Western community. So I guess that's my own opinion on that. So if anyone have any say, you can jump on.
Yeah. Well, from what I saw from our Eastern community and Western community, yeah, there is a big gap with MetaMask usage and even Trust Wallet or over dApps. So it's kind of hard to like onboard Eastern people to get onto the apps right now. From what I saw, the only one that works is that if we have some kind of IM token link or things like that, that's what is working. So that's what we are working on integrating on the Aleph.im dApps. And in the West, people are more interested in the technical details from what I saw down in the East for the DeFi application on Social DeFi, but we can get better engagement for the social side in the East. So it's not exactly the same opportunities. We can have less engagement on the social side in the West and more engagement social side in the East, but it's easier to get them on the apps using MetaMask in the West. So that's what I saw in terms of engagement and differences between the two. But again, it can also be linked to the fact that our dApps are right now mostly in English, and we don't have enough translation in Chinese or in other Asian languages. So that's something that we are heavily working on, and we are also working on a lot of content in Chinese right now to be able to engage more our Eastern community. But it's a big work. For Western projects, it's kind of hard to get visible in the East. But I think that it's the same for Eastern project to get visible in the West, because you need to be all the time on Telegram and friends on things like that. While in the East, it's mostly on WeChat, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you're right. For the East, mostly, I guess from the Eastern side, we're most on WeChat. So the difficult part of I guess trying to connect the East and also the West in terms of social elements in the DeFi space is essentially like I said before. Language barrier, I guess. Platform differences, a bit of a culture barrier as well. Yeah, so I guess for my next questions, I guess for to Diane from Dodo Network. So Diane, I love how like Dodo designed your cute little bird meme, and I guess in your opinion, when it comes to DeFi, what sparks Dodo to connect DeFi to social, and what do you envision the future social interaction in a DeFi could look like in the future?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I want to also share some of my thoughts about the question one. Actually, I have to add one thing that the different community culture is also related to the media struggle of East and of West. For the West, any media platform is like permissionless, right? All of DeFi users and traders, they are on Twitter and on Telegram, right? And Twitter is just like a square that everyone is talking with each other. And for Telegram, for Discord, there is not a limit, like how many people can gather in one group. But for Chinese side, there is not a universal media platform that can gather, every Chinese users. For WeChat, there are 5 people limited for one WeChat group, right? So you have to build a couple of groups, and you manage these separate WeChat groups. Yeah, and we don't have a platform like Twitter that you can access to everyone, right? DeFi users are not on Weibo. Weibo can access everyone, but DeFi users don't live on Weibo. And Bihu is a pretty big platform that there are a lot of readers and traders, but it's only one piece of the market, right? And there are many more tools and blockchain-focused media, but still separately. Yeah. So in the Chinese market, no matter for what, for Polkadot, for Ethereum, for Binance Smart Chain, for DeFi, you cannot find a universal platform that can access everyone. The flow, the traffic, the attention is separate in different places. Yeah, so that is a hard thing for every project to manage your marketing in China side. Yeah, and about the user growth, from our experience, we have a large user base in China that visit our website, but the conversion rate is not high compared with the Western side. Yeah, there are many reasons, like the product users is not big enough compared with the West side. Yeah, but the traders that speculate on DeFi tokens is a big user space, right? And also about the network. Yeah, if you don't have a local server in China, then your network, the loading speed of your website may not very quick. Yeah, so there are a lot of things you need to handle if you really want to grow your Chinese market. Yeah, but for Western side, even though we don't have that bigger user base compared with Chinese side, but the conversion rate is pretty high. The visitors to your website is the product users to do trading on my platform. Yeah, so that is something I want to share with guys, with other project founders. Yeah, and I'm also open to share more information about the Chinese market. Yeah, and for the question from Johnson, yeah, social DeFi, what social DeFi means and why this is, what DODO to connect DeFi to social. Yeah, and I think the very first important thing is give opportunity for people to make money. Yeah, so because people come to this space because they want some equal opportunity in a totally new space that they can make money. Yeah, so give them the opportunities. Yeah, and also I want to build the products that's more like a game. Yeah, so it's not only about making money, but also have fun here. Yeah, someone do trading not really just about money. Yeah, they just like is toxic. They just really like the feeling that they are trading. Sometimes they gain, sometimes they lost. Yeah, but they like the feeling, right? So you have to build places, let them have fun in this crypto game. Yeah. So in the near future, we will have something like a new mechanism of trading mining. Yeah, and also game plays to let traders have fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty
Besides our
it's pretty fascinating to hear. I guess your perspectives on the Chinese, I guess like social perspectives, right? So, so my next question is to Henrik. So I know like Melbourne's a social, quite a social, livable city. And people in Australia, Melbourne, is quite interested to get out, grab a beer and drink, really. So my question to you: so, what are some of the social elements that can be added to the funds management space, and what makes investment management unique when adding the social elements into the game?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think there are some things that kind of can be uniquely built with DeFi that is perhaps not possible really in the traditional space on the social side. One is the transparency. So traditional financial institutions and funds are very opaque. While if you're building something on Ethereum, is completely transparent what's going on, and you can share that information to users and the community in real time. So I think that's really unique, and I think we'll explore that more. Right now, kind of you can see what's going on in terms of trading, but you can also, the managers can share their thoughts in real time to really anyone in the world that access the platform through posts. I think we'll improve that in the future as well, where you can communicate directly with the managers on the platform, kind of two-way. So I think that will be important. Also, what have been mentioned a few times, I think, on this call is the gamification, and I think that's also pretty unique. And I guess that's what we have been doing as well with our leaderboard and kind of our trading competitions, and that had created an atmosphere, I think, where people want to rise to the top. It makes it more fun. And I don't think we have seen that in the traditional space. So I think these are kind of some of the things that I think is important in social DeFi: transparency, being able to share information in real time, and gamification.
Cool, perfect. I actually love the idea of gamification, really. So I love the idea of leaderboard, all those kind of gamified trading experience, really. So I guess my last but not least question is to Jonathan. So I guess your background is on the technical side, really. So I'm curious just to find out, as a founder and also the developer in the crypto space, what social DeFi means to you and why this is extremely important to the future adoption of DeFi.
Well, when you think about the social part for DeFi, most DeFi projects right now are kind of dry in some way. Dry as in you just put your funds, get your money back and stuff like that. And all the social interaction right now, in the West at least, is on crypto Twitter. You see a lot of farmers talking, yeah, I'm farming this, look at that, blah, 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 okay? There is even one big account that has signed his address and is known as 0xB1. He's doing a lot of farming on the and he's talking about it on Twitter. So there is a real need for the social interaction, and as Henrik said, it's something that hasn't really been seen before, and I think that if we can integrate the social part inside the DApps directly, with a chat, with comments, with profiles. For example, if on the farming DApps, each farmer could have its own profile with its track record, you could comment with others and say, okay, this is my strategy, you can copy my farming strategy, what is your strategy, we can compare, etc. I think that it could be really interesting. For example, in the farming case, it could also be the case in the case for staking, for a lot of other ways of earning money in DeFi, but not only earning money, because in the end, what you want doing that is either earn money, earn fame, be known, talk with people, get friends, have fun. And right now we are only leveraging the money part on the apps. And I think that integrating social into the apps is really something that will be the future. In the coming year, it will be really huge. And I also think that there is a link with DAOs there, because DAOs start getting the social part, but it's not far enough. And if we could link gamification of the DeFi and DAOs, you could even have DAOs of farmers that are putting together to be able to farm and to compare strategies, and you could get a part of the profit to like the best farmers or stuff like that. I think that there is a lot to like explore in the coming year or 2 years on the gamification, social part of DeFi and also DAOs. I think that it's the future in the next year.
Gotcha. Very interesting. So as you mentioned before, the farming, sort of a gamified farming, which also links towards Henrik's gamified trading, and also all those kind of stuff as well. So it's really fascinating to have you guys to talk about social DeFi and what's the future look like on social elements of the DeFi space. So I guess for today's sections, we can sort of conclude here really. So thanks for everyone's for being here really. And I guess for me personally, I look forward for the future social elements, especially on the social elements of DeFi, because I'm a bit of a like social. I love social interactions, and I love how DeFi can actually connect with the social elements and to encourage future adoptions in the DeFi space. So I guess the cryptocurrency market is moving fairly bullish and attracting a lot of people attention already, both from the retail side and also institutional side. So I guess for me, really last last comment is essentially bringing on those social DeFi elements to the game and welcome all those newcomers in a more convenient and also easier way to experience crypto really. Alrighty, that's it from me really. Thank you everyone for listening, and thanks to all the speakers. You guys did really good jobs here, and to the future social DeFi. Perfect. That's all from me, really.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.